He is unpopular. He is historically unpopular. He is the least popular president in the history of modern polling at this point in his presidency. The country does not like him. They do not like what he is doing. They do not like the people that he is putting in place. The more he talks about specific things he wants you to associate with him, the more the American public hates those things specifically. The more the country shows that, the better chance that Democrats will get stronger and faster and more bold in their opposition, and the better chance that Republicans might start to join them. It is that simple. There is no magic bullet. There's no shortcut in standing up for democracy. When you're standing up for democracy, you know what's in your toolkit? Oh, look, democracy. That's it. This is how it works. And the hardest part of it is to, the hardest part of it to build, the hardest part of it to get on your side is public opinion, right? But on this guy, we're only 1 month in, and public opinion is definitely already there on this guy in a way that no president has ever seen before. And that is really good for people who are opposed to him and people who are trying to construct a regime of opposition to him that includes all comers. Right? Public opinion is against him. That is irreplaceable and necessary and huge. And public opinion being against him, mark my words, is only going to get worse for him. Because, again, it's simple. Look at what he's doing. Just look at these headlines from the past 48 hours. Headline: Trump team plans deep cuts at office that funds recovery from big disasters. The Trump administration plans to all but eliminate the office that oversees America's recovery from the largest disasters, raising questions about how the United States will rebuild from hurricanes, wildfires, and other calamities. The administration plans to cut the staff of that office by 84%. Headline: Trump administration cancels federal contract for 9/11 research. Headline: Trump administration cuts 9/11 survivors fund. Republicans join Democrats in rebuke. Headline: long lines and canceled rentals. Firings bring chaos to national parks. Quote, at Yosemite on Friday, the Trump administration fired the only locksmith on staff. He was the sole employee with the keys and institutional knowledge needed to rescue visitors from locked restrooms. The wait to enter Arizona's Grand Canyon National Park this past weekend was twice as long as usual after the administration let go 4 employees who worked at the south entrance, where roughly 90% of the park's nearly 5 million annual visitors pass through. At Gettysburg National Military Park in Pennsylvania, last week's widespread layoffs gutted the team that manages reservations for renting historic farmhouses. Visitors received notifications that their reservations have been canceled indefinitely. Here's a popular one: deep cuts to the Center for Alzheimer's and Related Dementias at the National Institutes of Health. This is a research center that is actually named for a Republican senator. Its full name is the Roy Blunt Center for Alzheimer's and Related Dementias. Donald Trump is gutting that. That's going to be a really popular cut because obviously that's a lot of waste, right? Research to try to cure Alzheimer's. Who wants that? Well done, President Trump, getting rid of all that waste. What do people with Alzheimer's contribute anyway, right? Who cares? Have you ever had any trouble getting in touch with the IRS when you needed to? Have you ever needed, or like getting something from the IRS website or like calling into their call center, using their chatbot or anything? Have you ever needed help from the IRS, needed a form? Maybe you needed some instructions on how to file something. Have you ever called in to one of those helplines? Because it is tax season now. And today, the IRS fired nearly 7,000 people who work at the IRS. So this year, over these next few weeks, if you have any problems, any glitches, any delays, any trouble getting through, thank you, Donald Trump. Headline: FAA fires hundreds of workers, sparking concerns about air safety. Americans have been clamoring for that. Headline: Trump dismantled government fight against foreign influence operations. Oh, good. They just sent out notice, the government just sent out notice tonight that telehealth appointments aren't going to be covered anymore on Medicare. Oh, good. Everybody's clamoring for that. Already this kind of thing, the way they're running the government is creating what Politico.com tonight calls private Republican panic over the fact that Republicans in Congress are being, quote, inundated with calls from frantic constituents. Yes, I bet they are. And that is set to get worse, not better for them, unless they can get him to stop at least some of what he's doing. He started off a month ago historically unpopular. Now, 1 month in, his poll numbers are even worse. And just bear with me a second. Just take a quick look at just a sampling of what local news coverage is like right now in our country. And tell me if you think, from looking at local news, you think the public is going to start liking him any better given what he is doing.
Federal funding that has been frozen by President Trump.
The commissioner says not having access to critical funds is causing economic hardship for Maine farmers.
Federal cuts hit the Bonneville Power Administration the hardest. They lost about 20% of their workforce.
Nonprofits in Michigan are trying to survive a stop work order issued by President Trump.
This is a team that services some of the most at-risk youth in the Bay Area.
It's a lot of young people who are particularly vulnerable, who have been abused, exploited.
Yesterday, they got a notice from the federal government to stop work on their contract to provide legal services to their young clients.
What could a mass federal layoff mean for local forecasting for all of us?
We've got cold weather advisories.
NBC5 Storm Team starts many mornings with thorough forecasts to help you plan your day. And most of the data they share comes from scientists and meteorologists here at the National Weather Service in suburban Romeoville. Concern is growing that job cuts could be coming and what that would mean for local forecasting.
The information depends upon having the people in place. This is not something happening in Washington. It's your neighbors.
It's your neighbors. That's what local news looks like. A little slice of it just today. I really think that they are trying to make it so the laws of politics no longer apply because we no longer have politics, right? So the public hating what they're doing will no longer matter because they don't intend to ever have to answer to the public ever again. I think that is ultimately what they are aiming at. But that's what they're aiming at. It doesn't mean we're there yet. And right now, in our time, today, the unpopularity of what they're doing really does create real political pressure at the source to stop him, to at least slow him down.